All right, everybody, welcome back to the Xavier Klein Owner Series here on Madden 24. We are now heading to the 2025 offseason, and we got some re-signing situations that we're going to have to look at, but one of the things I'm going to consider right now is potential cuts and just kind of seeing if we can kind of move forward with some players before we sign some other guys. I'm looking at a potential sign and trade for someone like Aaron Donald, but I want to see if we can, release some other players here. As you can see, we got someone like Matthew Stafford. He's now a 65 overall quarterback, and he's got a ton of money and cap space. Now, if we were to cut him, I think that's going to save us in a decent amount of money here. You're looking at 37 cap split between 2 years, so that'll get us to about 118 million split between 2 years, which I think is pretty decent, and it frees up 13.5 million this year. So I think that's a fair move for us, and it's just an opportunity. Maybe Stafford finds some other place, but we just got to cut him and just kind of move on from. So looking forward to that one, seeing if we could potentially make some moves in this offseason. We do still have Stetson Bennett here. He's 27 years old. He's definitely a guy that he's got some capability with us, but with what's going on right now, we probably have to consider moving on from him as well. It's going to cost us 360. Not too bad right there, but that's a move I'd like to do. We do have some running backs here, and I'm honestly cool with every one of them, so I'm not about to be trying to do anything too crazy there. Ben Mason's up for contract, so that's not something to look at. Cooper Kupp is a player I'd love to give him an opportunity to find another home. He's regressed a little bit, but honestly, he's still a very good player. It's just from a situation standpoint here, we got to figure out who we're willing to retool around. Cooper Kupp is great, but is it an opportunity for us to move on? Now, if we were to keep someone like Cooper Kupp, knowing that we just cut someone like Matthew Stafford, I think we're in a decent spot there. And Cam Ward can have a reliable wide receiver in Cooper Kupp. You still got Puka Nacua there, and we still have an opportunity to still continue to retool this wide receiver group. So that's something to think about. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do with Ty Carey. He was on the cusp of making this team, but there's a chance now, knowing I'm trying to stick with 4 tight ends this offseason or this season. We won't see Tyron Smith on this team. We won't see Joseph Noteboom on this team. So there's a chance to kind of continue to retool that. What I'm happy about seeing those, we do got Galvin and EQ are there. So the depth on the O-line side, we've got some young guys that can continue to grow. So not too bad there. We have to consider potential here of Khalil Mack getting traded, although we did get a superstar dev. That might be a move to do if we decide to move on from Aaron Donald, which I think it's only fair to move on from Aaron Donald, knowing he's 1 in the red for the re-signing period, but 2, it's just an opportunity for him to ball out, man. We'll kind of see what happens. Travis Gibson's here now on one end. We got Ernest Jones, Chad Muma. So we got some depth from practice squad players, so it's not a guarantee. We can still retool it. We need a linebacker help for sure, though. Corners is definitely another help that we're going to have to figure out. We got Christian Fulton here, along with Kool-Aid McKinstry, Kobe Durant, Hodges Tomlinson, and then we do have Darian Kendrick coming on from the practice squad, and we got Tiki Smith, so the corners definitely need some work. The safety group honestly isn't bad. I like Rashad Torrance. I like Russ East backing up Josh Johnson. I like Nick Cross now. He's going to get an opportunity to ball out. We got Trey Dean. So we got a decent amount of of DB depth that I'm pretty happy about. The kicker, we're going to have to figure out that along the way as well. So not too bad there, but I definitely want to think about this re-signing now. We got 18 players on this thing. Let's see what we can do. So the first thing we're going to do is think about the players we don't want to move forward with. That's going to be Tyron Smith. We're going to let him move on to another team. We are going to potentially look at letting go of Tutu Atwell. Maybe we can get him in the offseason, in the free agency, and move on from there. Rob Havenstein, we're going to move on from, give him an opportunity to go somewhere else. Bobby Brown, same thing. Ed Ingram, he's looking at 2.6 million, but he won't be a starter. So when I see something like that, I go, hey, is it worth having Ed Ingram here? I got Jeff Schaefer, who I think is actually pretty decent to be a guard. Brandon Smith, we're going to go ahead and let go as well. Victor Demukeji, it's not worth it from that perspective there. Joseph Noteboom, he's actually not asking for a whole lot of money. 3.75 million. This is a guy who could play tackle, he could play guard. And I'm honestly okay with that. If he wants to stay with us, I'm willing to spend $4 million to do that for a guy who could play all the positions. And he's going to go ahead and play for another team. Ernest Brown, we're going to let walk. Jake Hummel is a guy I would like to have. Looking for a 2-year deal. I think this is kind of fair here. He's going to be more of a depth piece for us than anything else. But I think $2.7 million for 2 years is a fair deal. But he's going to head out. So we're going to have to figure out the interior linebacker position for sure. Justin Schaefer was a guy I was just talking about. I called him Jeff Schaefer on accident, but I think this is a guy that could really play for us. $2.2 million for a 1-year deal. Hopefully it works out for us, and I think it did. So we got Jeff a little bit, and then Coleman Shelton. I think this is more than fair. $2.3 million for a 1-year deal. And it's just good to know that we have a center just in case if we can't grab another person down the road. Christian Kirksey would like to stay with us. $2.75 million here. He does have a mentor tag that can help us out with Ernest Jones. I'm cool with it if he's willing to try to give us $2.7 million. We'll see if that works out, but he's going to try to play for another team. And that's the thing too, when you lose, man, it really hurts the potential free agents. So you got to figure out how to make it all work there. Kyle Fairbairn, he's asking for a whole lot of money. So knowing what we got there, right, we let a couple players go. We tried to attempt some players, but now we're down to 3 players specifically here. $84 million in cap space is what we're looking at. Ernest Jones is looking for a 3-year deal worth about $20 million. Is this fair? In my opinion, yes. He's 25 years old. He's doing very good for us. And I think what could really help us out is maybe giving him a $7 million deal. 3.3 in his base salary per year. So we're looking at about $7 million a year. I think that's more than fair. And I'm a fan of Ernest Jones, so I'm hoping he can stick with it. And he says he appreciates, but he's going to test the free agency. So we are without middle linebackers, folks. If we were to tag him, it's going to cost me $21 million, which I can't do. Now, Rashid Shaheed, he was the player, although he's in red, I'd like to bring him back, but I don't think we have the money to do so. I'd have to turn it down to 1 year, and then we'd have to pay him like, $10 million a year, which I don't think he's worth at this time. So the last player now is Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is looking for about $27 million a year. Is that fair? I think so. But in my opinion, what I'd like to do here is just kind of lowball him and then tag him. And he's going to test the free agency. We're going to go ahead and tag him. It'll be $34.2 million. And we're going to tag him for now. That's going to use a huge chunk of change right there this time. But then that's going to leave us room to start making some trades in this next season. So I'm hoping, in this upcoming free agency. So we're going to probably look at doing that and kind of test out the situation there, right? Aaron Donald is a good player, but I'd like to see if we can have some opportunity to leverage him for some picks in this upcoming draft or something like that. We can't put him on the block yet, so that's what we're going to do right now. And we'll see along the way. We gave up on a lot of players there. We didn't get a chance to sign as much as I would like, and we let go of some players too. So we're going to be down to a decent amount of players on the roster. So we are down to 50 players on the roster. With that being said there, we do have free agents, but we have the opportunity now to start trading. So the first person I'm going to look at trading right now is going to be Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was mainly brought on to just be a tag and trade. So it looks like a couple players here are looking to go on. The Bears are saying, hey man, we'll give you a 2nd round pick this year, a 2025, we'll give you a 6th round and a 7th round this year. So 3 draft picks and Raheem Sanders. The Buccaneers are saying, hey, we'll give you Chris Godwin, a 6th this year, a 7th this year, and a future 7th. We got Marquise Hollywood Brown. I guess he's trying to find a new home. That doesn't seem realistic. I wouldn't do that, and that's within our division, so no thanks. Commanders are going to say, we'll give you Kendall Fuller and a 7th. No, thank you. The Jacksonville Jaguars say, we'll give you a 4th and a 5th this year, and Christian Kirk. He's got a high cap. That's why I wouldn't do that. This one's intriguing here in that Elijah Vera Tucker has the ability to play tackle. But we do got Zion Nelson. They're going to give us a future 2nd round pick, a 5th and a 7th. Detroit's trying to give us Jahmyr Gibbs and a bunch of future picks. That wouldn't happen. Packers, Christian Watson, a 2nd round pick, a 7th and a 6th. I think what could end up happening with the Packers is I could potentially go, hey man, I'll take your 2nd, a 4th and a 5th for Aaron Donald and just let them keep them, and we'll look see if someone's on the block for them. Panthers trying to give us Derek Brown. I wouldn't do that. Doesn't seem realistic. Adonai Mitchell just got there. That doesn't seem realistic. Johnny Wilson just got there. That doesn't seem realistic. Byron Murphy, he's a corner. We would get a 2nd round pick and a 7th. Byron Murphy would be intriguing. He would head to Minnesota, but I don't know if Minnesota is the right fit for him, right? I'd love to send him to a team that can win, for one. I don't want to send him to a team that's quite horrendous. So, you know, if we could send him to the Bears, I think that would be a nice move for us, for him, so he can go on to a potential winning team. So he'd be in the north there. That could work out. The Raiders didn't make any sense. I'm trying to think who else was on that one. Panthers, it doesn't make sense. I want him, and then the Vikings, no way. So if I'm going to send him to a team, it's probably going to be the Bears based on what was offered in that one. So if we send him to the Bears, they won't have the cap space. But let's see if they got anyone on the block, right? Like, I don't want to ignore that. So they got like Riley Leonard here. Raheem Sanders is who they wanted, but I wouldn't do that. They got no wide receivers. They got 83 million in cap space, so they got the moves there. Now, Zach Pickens, that's some depth piece there. Andre Carter, that was the intriguing guy that was playing for Army. Just never really found his foothold. He was like a projected 1st round pick and just never got it done. The Noah Sewell one would be interesting for me. Because they got TJ Edwards. I think the Noah Sewell could be an intriguing piece there. Because I think that we could take some youth, we'll get him, and then maybe we can get like a 2nd round pick or something like that. So let's look at the trade finder real quick, see what that does once again, and see what the Bears are offering, right? So the Bears are giving us Raheem. So here's my thing. I'm willing to take their 2nd round and maybe a 5th round for a 2nd round and 5th round, along with I think it was Noah Sewell. So maybe like a 2nd and a 6th is more fair. So we get some youth there. They're willing to give up a 2nd round pick, which is going to be like a later round pick, or like it'll be a mid rounder. I think it's fair to do that. A 2nd, one of their 5ths, and then Noah Sewell. Zach Pickens along with the 7th. So 2nd, a 7th, and Zach Pickens and Noah Sewell. I think that's a fair move for us. Those are players on the block that they don't want anyways. We need some youth on this team, and Aaron Donald has a chance to really win for another team. So they got the cap space. I'm hoping this will work out here. Let's see if it does. And the trade has been accepted. Noah Sewell, Zach Pickens, a 2nd round pick, and a 7th this year, heading to Los Angeles. And in return, Aaron Donald is going to a big franchise who had some really good games last year. They won some decent ones, so we wish him the best of luck. He's going to be surrounded by some young talent there. They got JT Tuapolatu along with Leatu Latu and Jerzon Newton, so that defensive line is stacked. So we wish him the best of luck there. So there's some decent players out there. You got some O-linemen that could be really intriguing. Jerry Judy's out there and Joku's out there. You got some really good O-linemen out there. That could be pretty fun. As far as quarterbacks are concerned, you know, you got Zach Wilson trying to find a new home right now. Jared Goff, he's got 9 offers right now, so it looks like he's the big dog. Kirk Cousins is still out there. Trey Lance is still out there. I'd look at Kirk Cousins potentially, mainly for that mentorship. Sam Hartman could be kind of fun. Bring him in here, just have a bunch of young QBs kind of working through it. We could even bring in Jimmy Garoppolo if we really wanted to as well, or even Derek Carr. That's kind of a cheap deal. Halfbacks, I think we're pretty much set when it comes to the halfback situation. The highest OVR that would like to play for us is Jalen Warren, who does have ties to Mike Tomlin. Jamal Williams, Justice Hill. Interesting there. Yeah, it looks like we got some decent guys that want to play for us. Fullback, like I said, I don't see myself doing that because I'd like to just roll with 4 tight ends. Wide receivers that want to play for us: Chase Claypool, no way. Trey Nixon, Demarcus Robinson, Odell Beckham Jr. would like to play for us. Come back to Los Angeles. He already got a ring. Maybe he wants another one. That would be an interesting play right there. It would only cost us about $5 million, but that, you know, so that could kind of work for us from a cap perspective. Tim Patrick, big dog. Jake Boba. Ooh, big dude, 6'4", 207, decent speed on him. He can catch the ball. Brandon Cooks would like to play for us, $8 million there. So these aren't bad players. I think Cooks is the highest OVR that could work out for us. And then you got Quez Watkins and some other guys. So wide receiver could be in the cards, just not in this stage or this early stage. Tight ends, you got some tight ends that want to work with us. But we got 4 tight ends I'm pretty comfortable with. If I'm going to bring someone in, it's really just maybe to, you know, figure out that tight end 4 potentially. Tackles, this one's really interesting here because Jedrick Wills would like to play for us. He's only going to cost me $12 million. Now, Zion Nelson's good, but he's a late-round pick. So if we snag up Jedrick Wills, we could have him play left tackle, move Jack Nelson back up to right tackle, and then we pretty much locked in our tackle situation. So Jedrick Wills looks like a player I'd be interested in bringing in. He's on my list for sure. You got another guy here, Derek Kramer, Charles Leno, but Jedrick Wills is the guy I would look at. I don't see anyone in the guard position. I would consider a center, and it looks like David Andrews would like to play for us. That's a player I would bring in. He's a mentor. He's solid at center. Connor McGovern's another one, along with Mason Cole. So I think David Andrews is probably on the list for stage 1 for me. It doesn't look like anyone on the right guard position is interesting. Right tackle, you got Spencer Brown, core 4, no one there. Left end, Okwara would like to play for us. Kingsley Kiki, Kaminsky, Fatukasi. I would bring in Fatukasi for sure. Defensive tackles, Michael Pierce, BJ Hill. I'm a fan of. Arik Armstead. Him with Colby Turner would be kind of fun. Dedrick Wise looks to be out there. Leonard Floyd. Okay. Let's look at linebackers. Uchi would like to play for us. We do need a left outside linebacker. Judon. He'd be down to play for us. Uchi is the one. And he's looking at probably like a 4-year deal here. So he would cost us some cash. Patrick Payton. He looks like, well, that's another guy that could work out. Interior linemen, linebackers. We do got some good ones here in Jerome Baker, Shaq Thompson, Josie Jewell. David Long kind of wants a Jadon Woodby. So, okay, good to know that. The right outside linebacker. Okay. Curtis Bolton. Okay. Now corners. This is what I'm really thinking about if I'm going to make a move on a corner. You know, is there someone who would like to play for us? Looks like Marco Wilson You know, he's a potential guy that could work for us on the outside maybe, but there isn't anyone that's a solid outside corner that I'm willing to give up my first overall, free agency signing. So, yeah, good to know there. Free safety's not going to happen. Kickers, Jake Elliott's out there now, huh? So we can grab like someone like Jake Myers and be cool with it. Good accuracy, decent kick. Harrison Mevis, we could just bring a good veteran and kind of knock it out of the park. Panero's another one. We could bring in Fairbairn if we really wanted to, again, if we, later round. So first player I am looking at is left outside linebacker Josh Uche. He's looking at a 5-year deal. We're not close to home, but he does like the financials. We have Gibson, but we don't really have much after that. I think it's a fair deal. I think 17 mil a year is more than fair. It's going to be $85 million contract, so it's a decent size, but Josh Uche is a very good player for us. He can really solidify that outside linebacker position. So I hope he sticks with us. There looks like there's a couple other teams that are in the hunt, and based on what I'm seeing right there, it doesn't look like we're gonna have a shot for him. It looks like the Bucks are going all in on that, so I'm not about to be spending my money on that. There ain't no way. That's good to know. So with that being said, then let's flip it over to getting a solid center. Good veteran center right there in David Andrews. He's looking at a 1-year deal here. Excuse me. Gotta go back. Withdraw the offer. And then let's go over to center. And let's snag up David Andrews. Not asking for a whole lot. I think 11 is fair. I think that helps us out. And hopefully he rocks with us. So we got our guy. No one else is going after him. I think that's a fair move, and let's check out the eval period and see what happens here. Eval period's over, and it looks like we got David Andrews. So we got our center now. This is nice, right? We snagged up the center that we needed. I think that helps out this O-line tremendously. Having a good veteran there alongside. I think this really helps out this group. So Zion Nelson's on one end, Jack Nelson's on the other. We got Andrews in the interior with Steve Avila and Dotson. I think this is going to be a very good group. McClendon's been honestly playing very good as a backup tackle as well. We got Galvin, Ikior, Schaefer. So young group, but I think that's going to really help us out in that space there. I got to think about wide receiver, running backs wide receivers as a potential move. Backup quarterback is something we have to think about in the next coming stages, but I don't think initially in this first stage is the problem there. When you look at some of the people that got signed, it looks like some people made some moves. Jerry Jeudy heading to Carolina, Uche going to the Raiders. So it was the Buccaneers who was actually the big bidder, but he decided to go to Las Vegas. Justin Reed going to Green Bay. Jared Goff as a Titan. So Goff's heading over there to Vrabel, and then Desmond King to the Cardinals. So kind of surprising. That's all the signings for the beginning there. So now I want to think about, is there anybody here that, nothing that great. I'm trying to think about the ends. No one's interesting there. Ark Armstead, BJ Hill. There really isn't anyone worth the first stage that I'm seeing right now. Judon, he's asking for 2 years for $16 million. I just can't do that for an older guy. He's a good player. We just gave up Aaron Donald. I just don't think it makes sense to do that. Let's look at Jerome Baker potential. Baker was flying around everywhere. I think he's a very good player, man. Looking at a 4-year deal, 28 years old. We don't have a linebacker, right? We let Ernest Jones go. Didn't we? Yeah, we did. Ernest Jones is here and he's in red. So we let Ernest Jones go. We need somebody to hold it down, and I think Jerome Baker along with Noah Sewell could really work out. He's not asking for a whole lot of money. I think what could be fair here is maybe leveraging some of our cap. We give him about $8 million a year. I think a 3-year deal is fair. We up it to about $9 million a year for 3 years, so 27. I think that's a fair assessment there, and hopefully he takes that. So we get another guy that I'm hoping we can kind of knock that out of the park and go from there. Let's use that second eval period. And Baker is signed with us, so I think that was a fair deal. $27 million a year, $27 million contract, 3 years, or $16.5 million being guaranteed. I thought that was more than fair. So now we are down to the last grab right here. Now you got Jelani Tavai, you got Ginkle. If we really want to look at linebackers, that could be the works right there. I think when it comes to corners, I'm definitely interested in bringing in a corner. I just don't know if there's one that's really that incredible. And Marco Wilson, I don't think is worth the first stage. I think if I am going to lock up somebody, it's probably going to be a quarterback now. And, you know, it's not going to cost us a lot of money to bring somebody in. Derek Carr, he's got an 84 throw power, so he's not really going to be in the running for being a really legit backup. But it looks like some of the other guys already got taken, because I can't find them. Looks like Cousins. Oh, Cousins doesn't want to play for us. That's why. Sam Hartman doesn't either. So we could grab Derek Carr now, kind of work through it, but maybe we try to figure out a wide receiver, right? Like, is there a wide receiver that would like to play for us? Robert Woods, Odell Beckham. You know, you got Cooper Kupp, you got Puka Nacua, Odell Beckham coming back. Could that work for us? Odell on the outside. You know, maybe we look at another wide receiver as well. Noah Brown. I don't think these are bad moves. Odell's looking for a $5 million contract. I think that's fair, man. I think we give him 5 and we just work through it. So Odell, this is a quick we can grab, but I think we do this. So this is the last stage here. And Odell signed with us, $2 million guaranteed. He's 32 years old. So the reason why I'm doing this is I wanted to have reliable receivers for someone like Cam Ward. Cam Ward's going to be our dog. He's going to be our guy. And I think that's the right fit for us. So now you're going to see Odell Beckham Jr. out there. We got Puka Nacua. We got some other guys here like Moreno Cropper, Washington. So some youth in there, of course, but we got 2 good veterans that I think can really help out this young quarterback for the future. I think the O-line got stronger with David Andrews. And as far as defensively, we got a good veteran I think can really work out for us. Chad Muma is also here too, so we're going to see a battle for that middle linebacker too, which could be a little interesting. So, you know, we got a decent mix. You know what would be kind of cool if we could see like average age of the team too. That'd be kind of neat. So we're going to go ahead and advance it now, get us to stage number 2. We made the right moves. I think we got all the signings that we needed, and hopefully we are able to, you know, snag up some more guys here. So we got $38 million in cap space. It looks like the couple retirements have happened. A couple more. It looks like Jamie Collins has decided to call it a career, so he's out. Okay. As far as this next mock, you got the Saints sticking with what they want. Looks like the Steelers are going after another wide receiver as they let Deontay Johnson go. They still got us going Harold Perkins. I don't know why we would do that. Drew Aller is moving up. Looks like the Jets are trying to go after a guy. They really want to take care of that situation there. So the quarterback goes back up there. Donovan Edwards, don't know why. Cade Klubnik. So what would I do, right? I think if Hunter I don't know, man. I think I would love to have Hunter, and that allows me, because we snagged up a linebacker there. Maybe we find something here, man. So we got about 34 million. I don't understand how that happened there, but I should have more space, but it is what it is. So now we got 3 things we can do here. 3 players we can look at. And I think what's more than likely gonna happen here. Oh man, did someone snag him up? Oh, Zach Wilson and Goff. That's, oh, where did Zach go? Zach went to the Saints, so they're definitely grabbing another quarterback. So I think for us, you know, you grab someone like Derek Carr for a year. He mentors your guy, and let's withdraw that real quick. So you get somebody who can mentor Cameron, and I think that's fair, man. He's older. He shouldn't be out there. We'll probably draft another guy down the road, but I think that's the move for us. Running backs, I don't think it's in the cards for this one. Let's see if there's any wide receivers here. Dominic Levitt, Georgia. I would look at another potential veteran if I wanted to do it this way. Like Russell Gage. I think he's a pretty good wide receiver. Decent catching. He can kind of really help out the young guy. Brandon Powell. Brandon Cooks, man. Taquan Thornton. Their tight end. Gentry. Tremble. Tyler Croft. Wesco. Johnny's looking for 5 a year. Not going to do that. Noah Gray, 5 a year. Man, these guys are asking for a ton of money. So later rounds, and we could probably look at the deal. So this is the guy I wanted to look at. We moved Jack Nelson to right tackle. He's looking at just a 2-year deal. This would be a chunk of change, though. We would be left with 22 million. It's a lot. It definitely is a lot. But I want to make sure the O-line's in a really, really good spot. So Jedrick Wills, I'm thinking about that right now. Because we still got 2 more signings we can look at. But I want to think about the linebacker position. Since we weren't able to snag up somebody like Uchi, I got to think about who is worth it, right? Judon ain't it. Bowser ain't it. I need to think about a right. I think Van Ginkel could be really clean for us. He's not asking for a lot of money. He's 30 years old. Very, very good player when it comes to pursuit. His play rec's up there, but his pursuit is pretty high. His tackle's pretty decent. But then you look at someone like Malik Reed, not as fast, but he's honestly pretty decent. I think with Van Ginkel, no one's offering, so maybe we can wait a little bit. Corners, I feel like I'm going after Travis Hunter. I think that's the move for me, so I'm not going to waste too much. I think I'm going to grab some depth pieces, if anything else. Kicker, I think it's good to grab a kicker now. Who's got? I think Fairbairn is probably the best pick for us. He's looking at 4.31. The issue is if we lowball him, there's a chance that he doesn't sign with us, which means we won't have a shot at 9 players. But honestly, I'm not going to get too crazy and spend a whole lot of money on a kicker. I think $3 million is fair. We'll see if he sticks with us. We still have a punter, so no issues there. So we got a quarterback. I think we do look at Jedrick Wills here. Helps out the quarterback, and he's not asking for a lot of money. So I think we'll up it to 12.5 a year. That gives us 19.6, and we're in the running, I'm assuming. Yeah, we're in the running big time. We're actually gonna outbid the guy, but I think that's a fair. Let me withdraw that real quick. So I'm not gonna outbid myself, so I'm gonna go Let's do 12. I think that's fair. I think that still keeps us in the running. Yeah. So let's look at our current situation here. We are looking at a kicker, bringing out Fairbairn, Jedrick Wills to move Jack Nelson to right tackle, and Derek Carr as a mentor for Cameron Ward. Fairbairn is still trying to stick with it, but it looks like we got Wills and Carr. Big deal for us. I'm pretty happy with it. That helps me out. And now we get a chance to look at two other players since Fairbairn is playing hardball. I think when it comes to the wide receivers, I'm going to wait a little bit there because there's some players in red that we could snag up in stage 3. Which I'm pretty excited about. You got players like, we could snag up Zay Jones. We could even try to lowball Rashid Shaheed again. We can go after someone like Nico Collins if he doesn't get snagged up. So I got to be willing to be patient with it and hope that we can get some players. We can even bring back Tutu Atwell for a cheap deal in the next stage too. So we gotta stay diligent here and stick to our guns and just try to work through some of the depth that we need to focus on in this series here, or for this team. Derek Barnett, Carl Granderson got cut. He's looking for about 16 mil. I don't see myself do that. Javonte Jean-Baptiste. Man, these guys are crazy with the cap money. My goodness. Left outside linebacker is still definitely a deal, man. All right, Bowser. Levante David still out there. Oh, no. Ernest Jones got taken. Oh, man. Ooh, Zaire Franklin. Ernest Jones went to the freaking Jets, dude. Oh, disgusting, man. I do like Zaire Franklin. Yeah, I gotta wait. Right outside linebacker. I think we go after Van Ginkel now. I just want to make sure we have a good veteran to help us out there. I don't know. I think $4 million is fair for Van Ginkel. We get him, and then maybe we look at a corner here. Witherspoon, Herndon, Anthony Brown, Ojemudia. None of these guys are. Nope, no one's worth it. Nope. Yeah, let's. Maybe a tight end. Is there a tight end that can... Tremble's looking at 4... Dude, the money these guys are going for is absolutely crazy. Conklin's 30 years old. $6.58 million, man. What is going on? But I get it, though, man. These guys are good players, so they're not going to underbid themselves. I do like Noah Gray, but I'm not going to overbid him. I think I'm going to be fair to myself. We're going to try to see if we can snag him up for like $4 million a year. He's looking at a 3-year deal. I think that's a fair move for us. So we're not going to get crazy, but maybe these guys work it out. We'll see what happens here. The issue is if we can't get them on this at the end of the stage 3, we got to cut them. We got to switch all the contracts to only 1-year contracts in stage 3. So let's see what happens here. So it looks like Van Ginkel signs with us, which is nice. So we get some more depth in the linebacker position. Kaimi Fairbairn is still playing hardball, and so is Noah Gray. So we'll see if they stick with it. Who knows? I like I said, I'm not gonna outbid myself in any freaking way. There's just no way we're gonna do that. I'm trying to think, is there any... No. Wow, Garrett Bowles is out there. I didn't know that. He's still an older cat, though. Defensively, we got Kobe Turner. And then we brought in Zach Pickens, but doesn't necessarily mean we got to stick with it. I believe we got another guy in the interior as well that's like practice squad guy. So a 1-year deal for BJ Hill. I can't do it. We don't have the cap. My goodness, we don't have the cap for this. We got 14 million in space. Is there a quarterback here? Joe Milton from Tennessee. Aiden O'Connell got cut. My goodness, they let that man go already, huh? Jaron Hall. Okay. Is there a running back that would like to play for us? Maybe we just leverage that, right? You got Jamal Williams who'd like to play for us. Anthony McFarlane. Jalen Warren. So we got Kyron, so I don't know about that one. I got Zach Evans for power. Yeah. Maybe Chuba. He's asking for a lot of money though. Yeah, I gotta, that can't be a priority. That can't be a priority for sure. I gotta think about the wide receiver group. Do we bring in another veteran like Robert Woods? No, I think Noah Brown, 6'2", 215, big target. I'm gonna try to cut him down to a 1-year deal, and hope that he's willing to take like a very cheap deal for us. So we're lowballing right now because our cap is really hurting. We're gonna go ahead and eval that and see what happens here. So Noah's still there. As far as our targets are concerned, Fairbairn sticking with us. Noah Brown. So it looks like we got somebody. Noah Gray took the deal, so I'll take that. Now, this is heading into the third stage, and what I'd like to do is check out some players that we could potentially restructure. Cooper Kupp is definitely that guy. And if we restructure him, we will free up $9.42 million, which I'm willing to do. Kupp's going to stay with us for the remainder of his contract. So I'm happy about that. Jerome Baker, Khalil Mack's on his last year. John Johnson. Restructure, that would give us not enough. That's not worth it. Let's look at this. Byron Young, nope. Trying to think if I have any other veterans that I could leverage the cap space. I was thinking John Johnson. I think Cooper Kupp was the only one. Tyler Higbee's on his last year. And could we cut? No, that wouldn't do much. Yeah. Okay. So we saved up 9.42 million right there. Knowing where we're at with those two, I think we're gonna have to move on, and we're gonna have to withdraw those two guys. So Noah Brown and Kind Fairbairn, we're gonna withdraw them because we can only give them a 1-year deal. And we are going to go ahead and move on to the third stage. Now, third stage, anybody can go. Anybody in red can go. And we get an opportunity to snag up some more of the cats. Let's see some of the roster moves that occurred. Looks like you have a new DC. Oh, DC for the Bengals got fired. A lot of firings. My goodness. Who got hired, though? Can we look at that? So it looks like they got a new OC in Mac Williams going to Tampa. You got Craig Taylor getting hired. Who's the new head coaches? Lewis Fox, new head coach for the Saints. You got Joseph Wells to the Chargers. I don't know how this works. Did they fire somebody and he retired? I don't know what happened there. That doesn't make sense. Marvin Fowler is a new head coach for the Steelers. Ramiro Gallo to the Patriots. So you got some interesting moves happening across the league. So we'll see what happens with those teams. Like who rocks it out. Who's gonna be the dog. So now that we're here on this last stage, like I said, we get a chance to grab whoever we want. It's unlimited now with the pickups. So we're going to be very smart with this and just kind of seeing who's going to potentially be out here to compete and have a shot at rocking with this team. I don't. Oh man, how much money Hartman got picked up? He did. He went to the Broncos. Hartman was someone I was interested in. I just wasn't going to spend a whole lot of money on him. There's just no way. Gardner Minshew, he's a dog, but his throw power is weak. PJ Walker's got a decent throw power. He's not bad. We got 2 mentors we could potentially do there. I don't see myself doing that. Ryan Simmons? No thanks. The astronaut, we could bring him in. Throw power is 85. Devin Leary from Kentucky. Corey McLean out of UL Monroe. Kyle McCord from Ohio State. He's actually pretty decent. I'll bring him in, but we aren't spending a whole lot of money. It's probably going to be 0 there, so we'll make an offer for him, see if he gets it. Halfbacks, this is where I'd like to see if we can snag up a couple guys here for cheap deals, and hopefully they work through it. Frank Gore is out there. Frank Gore Jr. Clyde Edwards, Chuba Hubbard. I'll give him a 2-year deal, but again, this is about. Oh no, we can only give 1-year deals. So we're gonna lowball a lot of these guys because it just doesn't make sense for us to try to outbid ourselves. And if they get snagged up, they get snagged up. Wide receivers, this is where I'm pretty excited to try to bring in a couple players here that are available if they are. Tutu Atwell, I'm willing to bring him in like a very, very cheap deal. All right, so now we are in stage number 3, and we should have a decent amount of money. We got $27 million in cap space, so this is our opportunity here to again try to snag up some guys that could potentially play for us and rock it out, and we'll kind of see how it goes. But we don't have to outbid ourselves. Only 1-year deals, and I am going to lowball the hell out of some of these guys. We're going to try out Skyler, see what he does. If he wants to stay, I'll give him $100,000 in guaranteed money there. As far as running backs are concerned, Chuba Hubbard, 1-year deal. I'm not going to spend a lot of money because we got Braylon Allen, we got some other guys, but I'll give him $500,000 if he makes the team. If he doesn't, it's an easy cut. Wide receivers, let's see what we got here. Tutu Atwell, no one wants him, so we're going to try to lowball him. I think $500,000 there is fair. He'd be a wide receiver 4 for us, so give him a little bit of guaranteed money, but nothing too crazy. Russell Gage, 1-year deal. I'd probably go 1.2 and then give him like $800,000, $2 million for 1 year. That's not bad for Russell Gage. That's 2 good wide receivers there that I think could help out Ward, but they're not necessarily having to be so key for this team because we got Odell there, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp. Looks like Taquan Thornton would like to play for this team. I wonder where Rashid Shaheed went. He went to the Ravens. What's his catching? 79. My gosh. Ryan Edwards, very, very good sure-handed wide receiver. He's a big target. I think that could work out for us there. Tight ends. You got some guys. I would like to bring in Tremble. Can only give him a 1-year contract, but Tremble's actually a pretty good tight end. I'll give him $1 million guaranteed if he's willing to play for us. That gives us a little more room there. Ooh, Cam Jordan. That's a great veteran to have on this team. He doesn't really fit the scheme, so he'd be kind of smoked on that one. Fotu Kasi. He could be. We can actually move him into the interior, and he'll help out Kobe Turner. But I don't know. Romeo Okwara would like to play for us. Likes the warm weather. Likes the big market. I'm willing to bring him in if he's willing to take a little bit of a cheaper deal. Maybe $1 million guaranteed. Defensive tackle. Javon Kinlaw. He just doesn't do anything. Like he's an athlete. He just doesn't do anything like superb. So I don't want to deal with that. Could bring back Bobby Brown if he wanted to, but no, thank you. Isaiah Buggs is a great freak dude. Has a crazy motor. Samson Ebukam, Dorrance Armstrong could be fun. Dominique Robinson. I would consider AJ Epinesa, mainly to be just, again, it's just more depth on that line there. We got Khalil Mack. I got Yetur Gross-Matos, but imagine if we can just have these guys, rotating in and out. That'd be pretty sweet. We still got $10 million in cap space too. Left outside linebacker, Akeem Davis-Gaither. Now this is where it becomes really fun. It's where we can potentially bring in some guys here that don't necessarily want to play for us, but they could be pretty good guys around. Patrick Payton does want to play for us. I'm hoping we can get him for like a very, very good steal here. See if he's willing to take that. Jadeveon Clowney, he'd be more of an end. I don't want to waste anything on that. Wish him the best of luck somewhere else. Middle linebackers. So we could bring in Levante David, have him pair up with Jerome Baker, Noah Sewell kind of having that rotation. I think that could be a really good move. Demario Davis, we can bring him in if we really wanted to. Great awareness on him. Good play rec. Imagine him, and that could be really fun. Zaire Franklin would like to play for us. I think this is one of those things where, man, that could really be clean. Two good veteran linebackers there. Zaire Franklin flies around. I actually give him a little bit more. $3 million is actually a steal for that guy. Jelani Tavai. I don't know about all that, man. This guy's actually pretty good right here. Steel Chambers from Ohio State. Okay, corners. This is where I gotta think about just depth. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of money in this space, but I do want to bring some guys in that could help us out. Kelvin Joseph. Why does this guy always not make teams? It's a 73 overall. No, I think we're good. Safeties. If there was a decent safety out there to help out John Johnson, I'd do it. Cameron Bynum. I'd actually consider bringing in Bynum. He'd pair up. He'd be the potential heir apparent if we decide to move on from John Johnson. Okay. So I think that could really help us out. Let's look at the targets here. So we actually brought in, we're looking at a couple guys. Chuba Hubbard, Cameron Bynum, Zaire Franklin, Tutu Atwell, Russell Gage, Kelvin Joseph, AJ Epinesa, Tommy Tremble, Romeo Quara, Brian Edwards, Patrick Payton, and Skylar Thompson. These are all like cheap deals, and we'll see if we can get some of these guys. Eval period is over, and I don't know if we got some of the guys. Did we got Cam Bynum? Wow, we got Bynum with a steal. That's crazy. Zaire Franklin came over, Russell Gage came over, Tommy Tremble, Okwara, Peyton. We got some really good cheap deals there. I'll take that. It doesn't look like anyone's bidding on these guys, so we're not going to outbid ourselves. Let's just keep evaling it. So a couple more guys are off the list here. Let's see who else ends up coming over. Kelvin Joseph comes over with barely any money. AJ Epinesa comes over, not having to acquire, and Skylar Thompson, $100,000 guaranteed. That is nothing in this stage. So the last stage here, we're going to try. Maybe Chuba comes over, maybe it doesn't. And it doesn't look like these guys will be coming over. Tutu Atwell, Brian Edwards, or Chuba Hubbard. I was hoping, but again, I'm not about to outbid myself. We'll have 15 million in cap space, which I think is a good thing for us. But you know, we spent about 70 million in guaranteed money, which I thought was a good move for us. Actually, not even that, because I think I upgraded something when it came to the stadium. So we got 67 players on the roster, which I think can really be nice for us. And I think that's going to allow us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got eight picks in this year's draft. We're a top 5 pick, and it's looking pretty nice for us. So when it comes to the roster, I think we've done some really, really nice upgrades. The starting lineup so far right now looks pretty decent. We got Jedrick Wills coming over from the Browns as our new starting left tackle. We got Stephenville at left guard, veteran David Andrews at center, Kevin Dodson at right guard, and Jack Nelson at right tackle. Tight end group has also gotten upgraded as we brought in Noah Gray and Tommy Tremble. Tommy coming over from Carolina, Noah Gray coming over from the Chiefs. Wide receiver group also has some nice veterans here, and Russell Gage coming over in the free agent market with Odell Beckham Jr. Running back group, you know, it's going to be the same kind of cats, but I'm hoping for that. And then I brought in Skylar Thompson to kind of be that quarterback 3 behind Cameron Ward. Derek Carr is our veteran, so I'm hoping that kind of works out there. On the defensive side, I think we've done some really good things. With Ernest Jones leaving the Rams, we brought in 2 good veterans, Jerome Baker at 28 years old from Miami, and Zaire Franklin from the Colts. They're going to hold it down in the interior, and we got Travis Gibson on one end with Byron Young on the other, and there's a chance right now that we'll probably have Van Ginkel playing on the opposite side and just letting that speed kind of roll through. We brought in another safety here, and the main reason for that is, you know, John Johnson is getting a little older. He is 29 years old. Cameron Bynum's 27. So, you know, we got one more year left here for John Johnson, but the positive is we have some potential heir apparent situation there with Cameron Bynum. When you look at the corner situation, you got Kool-Aid with Fulton, but we brought in a guy here in Kelvin Josephs that I think could really show up. As far as the defensive line's concerned, Yeturgos Matos, Khalil Mack, Kobe Turner. Well, we got other cats here. The acquired Zach Pickens, where we sent Aaron Donald to the Chicago Bears. We still got Chico Bennett, and we got in Romeo Okwara, who I'm pretty excited to see kind of go to work. And we got Yeturgos Matos and AJ Epinesa. So this D-line, I think, there's not crazy superstars outside of Khalil Mack, but these guys can go to work and they can get it done. So pretty happy about that. We don't have a kicker, so I'm probably gonna have to look at one in the draft. But I think that's not a bad setup with what we're doing here, and hopefully we can rock it out. we're going to advance it here to the recap period and just kind of see how it goes there. So it looks like when it comes to the free agency, this is what we got here. So the players I got signed: Joel Bitonio is heading to Seattle. You got Wyatt Teller heading to Carolina. Tyron Smith's the new left tackle for the Colts. Jerry Jeudy to Carolina. Ryan Jensen is the new center for Pittsburgh. David Njoku is heading to the Giants. Teron Johnson going to the Vikings. Meinertz going to Dallas as Zach Martin retired. DJ Reader to Carolina. Deontay Johnson to Carolina. Uchi to the Raiders. Justin Reed to the Packers. Zadarius Smith going to the Cards. Judon is going to the Commanders. Micah Hyde is going to the Vikings. Jabril going to Tampa. Goff is going to the Titans. You got James Daniels heading to the Chargers. Deion Dawkins, he's going to the Commanders. So pretty decent cat right there. Trey Lance going to the Bucks. Sam Hartman's a Bronco. Jameis Winston's a Jet. Anthony Gordon, Slater, Mitchell's going to the Patriots. Interesting moves on some of these. You got the wide receivers. Elijah Moore's to the Steelers. Brandon Cook's a Jet. Rashid Shaheed. Nico Collins, that was the guy I was looking at. We just couldn't grab him. He went to New Orleans for a 3-year deal. More than fair. He's a really good player. Tight end, Njoku. Jawan Johnson's a Jet. Tyler Conklin is a Packer. So some pretty good moves across the board. No one too crazy. There wasn't like haven't signed a Steeler. There wasn't a big free agent in this one. I think Aaron Donald probably would have been the big sweepstakes. Arik Armstead's a Bengal. But we just couldn't we didn't have anybody that was crazy special, but the Jedrick Wills and Jerome Baker were big acquisitions for me. I'm pretty happy about that. We just have to figure out now how all this other stuff's going to work out, right? So to summarize, here are the players we decided to grab. We went for Kelvin Joseph, Skylar Thompson, AJ Epinesa, Zaire Franklin, Patrick Payton, Russell Gage, Tommy Tremble, Cameron Bynum, Romeo Quara, in the last round, which everyone had, like, I can only do 1-year deals, so that's why they all have 1 year. And then in the second stage, we went Noah Gray, Andrew Van Ginkel, Jedrick Wills, Derek Carr. I thought those were all fair, and they really got us to a really good spot. So really excited about that. I guess stage 2, I didn't get a chance to sign as many people as I thought. I think there was a glitch there because it had me 3rd eval in stage 2. I should have been able to grab 9 players. Really weird. I think something happened there, but all good. And then we went stage 1, Jerome Baker, David Andrews, and Odell Beckham Jr. Those are the players that I'm hoping to kind of grow there. So I think we got a good group, man. I think it's going to put us in a decent spot, prepping us for the next season. We're now an 80 overall team, so we moved up a little bit. We're just going to have to figure out now who's going to be added to the Los Angeles Rams. We got $15 million in cap space, so it's going to be fun. But I'm looking forward to this one. So that'll do it for us today, everybody. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. It was a quick free agency, an off-season free agency situation, along with re-signing, because we didn't have to do much. We had to let Aaron Donald go. We were able to get some future picks, some current picks, for this upcoming draft, along with some young talent in Noah Sewell and Zach Pickens, which were on their block. So we took the players that were on the block that they didn't want, and we let Aaron Donald head to a team that has a shot at winning the Super Bowl next year. So we'll see what they decide to do. I appreciate everyone stopped by today, everybody. Y'all have yourself a great one. Looking forward to this upcoming draft for the 2025 season. Travis Hunter is going to be a Ram. Have a good one.